Well, as was announced, I serve as a general authority in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but that's not the only reason you should listen to me today. You should listen to me because I remember being young like all of you. I remember trying to fit in. I remember walking into a cafeteria and wondering where to sit. I remember failing a test, not making a team, and crashing the family car. I remember being you. Because we're human, we yearn for connection. And sometimes we connect without even realizing it. Sometimes you'll be sitting next to somebody and they'll yawn and you'll yawn. Or people will be laughing and you'll start laughing without even knowing why they're laughing. The world's growing more connected, and you live in a time in which you can easily connect with someone across the world through the internet, your cell phone, and through social media. But as you become more and more digitally connected, don't let the digital connections replace the infinitely more important human connection. The simple fact is that an emoji hug really doesn't help much, especially during tough times. I'd like to talk about two elements of connection, if I could. First of all, how connections can help you, and then how you can connect with and help others. Sometimes we make bad choices that lead to negative consequences. I remember once, prior to going on a date, trading the main course of my cafeteria meal for 4 servings of apple crisp dessert. I then compounded that mistake by going on a date with a girl at Lagoon, and we went on one of those rides that go around and around and around. And you can imagine what happened to the apple crisp dessert, and we never went on another date. However, many of the trials and hardships we experience are unavoidable and sometimes not even a product of our own choice. As a good friend of mine once told me, he had been a prisoner of war for 7 years during the Vietnam War. And he told me life breaks everyone. But during those moments of breaking, that's when we most need to be connected. We need to have other people who can be there to help us through those things that are unpredictable and unfortunate. Now, the most natural connection point's your family, parents and siblings, people who love you and can guide you and can help you. If you're struggling with opioids or anything, I urge you to talk to your parents. Talk to an older brother or an older sister. Let the people closest to you, who you can trust the most, help you through some of those struggles. Now, having said that, I realize some of you don't have perfect family situations, and you may not be comfortable going to a family member to talk about the things that you're struggling with. If that's the case, please know there are other sources of support and other people who can help. At your age, one of the best sources of connection are associated with school. You're surrounded by caring teachers, you have friends who relate to you, you have activities you can become involved in. Teachers do more than just teach. They can offer a listening ear, provide support and guidance, and help you grow. One of the teachers who most influenced me when I was in high school started out being the teacher I liked least, and the feeling was mutual on his part. Years later, he'd have me come back to the high school to speak to the students in his classes. And he would always introduce me by saying, "This is the student that I most disliked at first, but over time became one that I was sad to see graduate." As you know, friends are essential. Find friends that will make you better, that will stand by you through good times and bad times. I still get together. It's been 40 years since I graduated from high school, more than 40 years, and I still get together with the same 6 friends every single year to remain connected and to talk about solutions to going bald. Create connections with involvement through opportunities in your school and community, with clubs, sports, and other activities. They create lasting friendships, and quite frankly, they help you deal with some of the stresses that are associated with growing up. If there isn't a club that interests you, start your own. When I was in high school, we started a club called the Apathy Club. We never actually met as a club because if we had, we wouldn't have been qualified to be a member of the Apathy Club. But somehow we convinced high school administrators to let us make weekly announcements of activities that the Apathy Club was hosting that no one ever attended because we were all apathetic members of the Apathy Club. Another vital point of connection is faith. The New Testament writer Matthew quoted the following words of Jesus Christ: "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." I don't know about you, but those words give me great hope. We really are all part of his family. You can also find connections through your community's faith leader, whether a pastor, a rabbi, a bishop, an imam. They can all offer you help and serve as a mentor to you. I want to just share one story with you that helps emphasize the importance of helping others. When I was in high school, there was a boy named Douglas who candidly didn't have any friends. He didn't look right. He didn't wear the right clothes. He wasn't good at sports or, quite frankly, at anything that I knew of. He'd been teased and ridiculed in elementary school, junior high, and high school. I never harassed him, but I never reached out to him either. Remember that Apathy Club I just told you about that we started? In my senior year of high school, it sort of became famous. Everybody looked forward to the weekly announcements of the dumb things that the Apathy Club was sponsoring. One day, Douglas came up to me in the hallway of the high school, and he handed me a piece of paper, and he said, "I wrote an announcement for the Apathy Club. I hope you'll use it." And then he walked away. I opened up the piece of paper and looked at what he'd written, and it was funny. I mean, it was really funny. So the next week, we read the announcement that Douglas had written for the Apathy Club. As we walked down the halls that day, people kept saying to us, "That was the funniest one ever. You guys are geniuses." And we said we didn't write the announcement. And they said, "Who wrote it?" And we said, "Douglas." And they said, "No way." And we said, "No, it was Douglas." And a week later, he came up and handed me another piece of paper with another announcement. And it was even funnier than the last one. So we read that one too. That was his moment to connect. For a few short months, at the end of his high school experience, he fit in. He was connected to all of us. All he needed was a chance, and it didn't, quite frankly, cost us anything at all. Now, in today's world, some are challenged by more than just feeling isolated. Some struggle with debilitating addictions that on their own they're probably unable to overcome. There's a critical first step for any of you who are struggling with that. You need to be honest with yourselves, and you need to be honest with those who want to help. It can be hard because there's this unnecessary stigma that attaches to the word addiction. People are afraid to share that they're struggling with something like that for fear of how people will view them. But the simple reality is we all experience different kinds of struggles, all of us, and we can be a strength to each other. Don't judge those who are facing a challenge different from your own. Help them. Be patient and understanding. Don't give up on anyone. No one is a lost cause. Find connections to overcome your difficulties and offer a helping hand to those in need of your strength and your comfort. Don't replace a friendship with a phone. Keep yawning, keep laughing with those around you. Life really is meant to be enjoyed. and it's best enjoyed together. Thank you.